All right. I thought I'd spice it up a little bit with the music today. As you can see, it's a Tuesday and I have not even gotten in to get my workout in this morning. This was me dressed this morning at 5:30 to get my workout in, and the day happened and here we are. And you know what? It's okay, because sometimes you get your workouts in and sometimes you don't. So today you get me completely ready to go work out, which I will do later, even for 15 minutes in my garage. And I just really felt inspired today to just jump on and talk about creating authentically positive team momentum, especially when things are gritty. So momentum, people talk about momentum all the time. And how you got to get on momentum, and money loves more money, and impact loves more impact, and presence loves more presence. Like, there's momentum that gets gathered when we're doing things really well and when things are going really, really well in our companies, on our teams, in our personal lives. It's just, if you look back at some of the times when you've had the most momentum and things have been going great, you feel that energy of momentum. And it seems like the more good you do, the more good happens, right? So that's awesome. And we all love those moments. And I've had them and I love them. And I know my team has had them. We've all had them. Our clients have them. But what do you do when things are gritty and you're not having momentum and it feels like things are moving slow? What do you do then? How do you create authentic, positive team momentum? I think that is a really worthy inquiry. And I think that it's something that I am noticing more and more people really, I don't want to say struggling with, because that feels like a strong word, but just kind of figuring out right now. I was talking to somebody just yesterday, and they were talking about what a bizarre time it is in work, just in general in work right now. Their organization is going through a reorganization. They're moving one of their biggest divisions out. This person in particular is getting ready to exit. They're trying to keep their team motivated around this. The team is really, struggling right now because there's a lot of ambiguity. And the leader of this team is someone who cares deeply about the team and is trying to manage a lot of different pieces. And their question to me yesterday was like, how do we keep the momentum going with continue to take care of our customers, continue to do good work together, but also know that, some stuff's really gritty right now. How do we do that? And this conversation is very similar to a conversation I had just last week, I think it was Friday, with somebody who's just talking about how much their Rolodex has shifted over the last year, because there have been so many changes in their industry and so many, this reshuffling of the workplace. And they said, how do I keep momentum going for myself as my entire network is changing and as our team is looking at all the changes around us? Like, how do we keep the momentum going, especially when there's no momentum? So let's just take a few minutes to talk about that. I think there are some really honest ways to start thinking about this. First of all, is to stop and to pause and to just take a breath. Whether we're talking about momentum for you personally, it could be an exercise program that you're on. It could be with your career. It could be that you're working on a book. It could be that you're creating a new product. Like, who knows? Whether it's for yourself personally, or whether it is for you and your team and your organization. Maybe it's for your entire organization. Maybe your organization right now, it just feels like you're going through some mud. Maybe. Maybe. Let's look at how do you create authentic, positive energy and authentic, positive momentum when that's happening. All right. A couple things to think about. One is you got to pause. Just pause, stop, set back, take a deep breath. This is honestly, I believe, one of the biggest things we can do right now, especially when we feel like things are slow or they're hard, is just to stop and just to get back into your body. What tends to happen is we move so fast and we're up here that we go into react mode, tunnel vision, react. And then, I don't know if you've noticed this yet, but when you're reacting, you create more resistance. It's like, reactivity is like energetic glue. It just makes everything stick. So just stop and pause and just check in with yourself. How are you doing? You could be doing great. You could be doing terrible. How are you doing? Well, what do you need? And maybe this is just a moment actually to take a step back and take a little bit of a break. So that's one thing, just to generate positive momentum, is you want to clear the field of all the resistance that you're feeling with yourself and potentially with your team. So that's one. Second thing you want to do is you want to start looking at what is going right. This is really, really important. What is going right? You might be pushing up against a lot of stuff. There might be a lot of ambiguity, but I promise you there are things that are going well that you're just overlooking because you're looking at how hard things are in different ways. So what is going right? What's going right with the team? What's going right in your personal life? What's going right with your clients? What's going right with what you're creating? What's going right in your organization? Maybe you just went through a big reorganization. Maybe you're going through big stuff as a company right now, but what is going right? One of the things that people often overlook is something that's going right, which is a positive indicator, is conflict on leadership teams. If you have conflict on leadership teams and people are actually talking to each other and pushing back, you can actually give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back in that things are going right. Because if your people are feeling, if your people are feeling safe to push back and have conflict, that's positive. What worries me is when nobody pushes back pushes back on anything and instead just pretends like everything's okay, but you can feel it. So conflict can actually be a sign of momentum. It just might not be comfortable. So you want to look for what is going right. What things are going right? Are you getting your exercise program in? Are you getting self-care in? Are you being nice to yourself? Is your team talking to each other? Did you have even the smallest win yesterday? Are you feeling a little bit inspired despite things being hard? What's going right? The littlest things going right. You want to start to put your attention on what is going right. Pay attention to what you want to shift and put your energy on what's going right. Third thing you want to do, so pause, get present, reboot. Second is to look at what's going right. And the third thing is to actually bring your team into the conversation. How are they doing? What do they need? What do they see as going right? Our team this morning, we had a meeting. It's one of my favorite meetings we've had so far. We've been together for a while now as a team. But what was so delicious about the meeting was that we came in. We've got a lot of different things going on right now. Lots of different potential ways to play in the world right now, and lots of changes. And sometimes that can feel really gritty. So we jumped into the meeting and we just got going. And it was me. I just got going because it's usually me that's going to get going if somebody on the team's going to get going, because it can be excited like that. So I just got going. And then one of our team members, we actually kind of calmed it down for a minute. And then one of the team members said, hey, can we do a thing where we focus on something 30 seconds each that's going right? So we did. So everyone took 30 seconds. We even timed it. We even put it on our Zoom timer. And I'll tell you, it was so much fun to watch. The energy of the meeting was already great. It was already great. But where it went after that, there was 4 of us on the meeting. So where it went after that, in 2 minutes, basically, let's just say 3 minutes of an investment of looking at what's going right and having everyone just kind of get present and reboot. Those 3 minutes led to even more creativity and oh, well, we could do this. Oh, look at this. What if we did this? Oh, I'll take that. So that's the third thing I would offer you, is creating positive momentum, even when things are gritty. You want to pause and get present, look at what you need. You want to look at what's going right for you so you can clear your own energy, and then you want to do it with your team. And then you could continue to follow this yellow brick road down the trail if you'd like, with looking with your organization, looking at the teams you interact with, looking at relationships and whatnot. But I've gone too long. It's food for thought for you. I hope it's helpful. If this is helpful, please go ahead, like it, share it, do all the things. And thanks as always for being here. If you want to talk more about this kind of stuff, make sure that you register for our executive forum, which is coming up at the end of the month. Let's see, here's an executive forum. This one in particular, we're going to talk about balancing accountability with psychological safety and impact. We're hearing a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot. We're hearing enough people speak to this trickiness of holding people accountable and also creating psychological safety. And sometimes people say that they don't feel psychologically safe because they were just given feedback or they were held accountable. So we're hearing enough of that I want to talk about it. So small executive roundtable. These are by invite only. So you do have to sign up to get an invitation. And they're for senior and executive leaders. And we get in and we do real talk. They're confidential. They're lovely. So join us if you'd like to join for the next one. And then the other thing to know about is that we do have an open enrollment, open public workshop happening in Ann Arbor, Michigan, September 14th and 15th. It's the only time we're doing it this year. And we don't have anything like this planned for 2024. Usually these sessions are purchased privately for companies. So we are doing an open one. You can go ahead and find more about that on our site as well. Just go to activechoices.com and go to engage with us. we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.